There are these special ships that dock at Glendale Seaport. These are called container ships. Containers are very versatile because they can be carried behind 18-wheelers or on railroad flat cars. The Southern United Railroad has a container terminal just outside Springfield Station. There, cargo is transferred from boxcars to containers or brought in by 18-wheelers. They are then loaded onto railroad flat cars and then taken to the seaport. Mr. Regan and Mr. McCluskey got together and decided that a Monday through Saturday special train of containers would run between the container terminal at Springfield and Glendale Seaport. They also decided that a Mallet locomotive would be the best locomotive for the heavy trains. The other engines were worried when they said a Mallet would be joining the railroad fleet because the last one that came to visit was very rude to Danny. But to their surprise, this Mallet was friendly, and he arrived at the sheds where Kevin, Christian, and Larry were waiting to meet him. "Greetings, comrades," said the engine. "My name's Frank. What's yours?" "I'm Larry. I'm Christian. And I'm Kevin. Nice to meet all of you," said the engine. "So you're going to be our new container engine," Kevin said to Frank. "Indeed I am," he said. "I can't wait to get started. On my old one, I used to pull heavy trains at high speeds. I enjoyed it very much." "Were you always on time?" Larry asked. "No, not all the time, but for the most part, I had a perfect record of not being late." "Then you'd be great for the container trains," Christian replied. "I certainly hope so," said Frank. The next morning, Frank set out on a test run, pulling a flat car with containers on it, plus a passenger car carrying Mr. Regan, Mr. McCluskey, Ray, and Paul. Bernard was coupled behind as a helper in case of problems. He puffed carefully through Watsonville Junction and was amazed when he reached the seaside itself. "I could get used to traveling along here every day," Frank said to himself. He puffed carefully through Glendale Station and then into the seaport, where he turned around a loop because he was too big for the turntable. There, he saw Taylor. "Hello there, my name's Frank. What's yours?" "Taylor," replied Taylor. "You must be the new container engine. How'd you like the line?" "I loved it," said Frank. "You have a lovely line. I can't wait till I start regular work." A few days later, Frank was at the sheds talking to Kevin, Christian, and Larry again when Mr. Regan walked up. "Frank, before you leave, I just want to mention something. Your test came back fine, but you need to travel at restricted speed until we can upgrade the coastline." Frank was cross. "What do you mean restricted speed? I'm built to go faster." "The tracks aren't well enough for an engine like you at high speed," said Mr. Regan, "so you will travel at restricted speed." Mr. Regan then turned away and left. Frank was furious. "How dare he makes me travel at restricted speed?" "It's for safety reasons," Larry replied. "He doesn't want you getting into an accident." "I've never had an accident, especially not at high speeds. I'll be fine." Later that morning, Frank went to the yard to collect his container train. "Remember," said his driver sternly, "restricted speed as soon as we reach the coastline." Yeah, said Frank, but he was already making a plan. They traveled at full track speed, passing through Denville, but as soon as they reached Watsonville, his driver began to slow him down. But Frank didn't mind. He had a plan. As soon as they reached the straightaway, Frank surged forward down the coast. "Slow down, boy. You're supposed to be at restricted speed." "I'll be fine. Mr. Regan doesn't know what he's talking about." But then there was trouble. The wheels under Frank began to feel uneasy. "Oh no," he said. "I think I better slow down." His driver began to ease him off. But by the time they slowed him down, it was too late. Frank had crashed off the rail with the containers following behind him. When he opened his eyes, he found himself laying on his right side, almost falling in the water. Kevin and Christian were soon called to the scene, and and they brought Ray with them. Ray hopped out of Kevin's cab, walked past the wreckage, and quickly proceeded to rip Frank apart. "What were you thinking, Frank? Mr. Egan said to travel at restricted speed, not full track speed." "I'm sorry, Ray," groaned Frank. "And you should. You damaged the single track section of the shoreline, and because of you, 3 of the engines are trapped at the harbor." The 3 engines were Allie, Chrissy, and Taylor. When they found out that they would be marooned for the night, they were furious. Frank felt very silly. Kevin backed away to push the work cars into a siding, while Christian took the unhurt container cars away. Using the crane, they soon had the damaged container cars cleared away and Frank back on the rails, and then they proceeded to take him to the works. The track crews then worked all night to repair the track that Frank had damaged. And that morning, Allie, Taylor, and Chrissy were able to leave the seaport. A few days later, Frank was repaired, but he was a much more sensitive engine. He knows that speed restrictions aren't just a suggestion. It's something out there to keep himself and his crew safe.